going to be talking a little bit about modesty, what it is, what it's not, the truth about it, why we should dress modestly, and all of that jazz. It's a topic I don't really like talking about because it's so controversial, and I guess that's why we don't talk about it enough in church, in this way that is. So if you're interested in this type of video, keep on watching.
I'm a God girl, that's who I'll be, from the top of my head to the soles of my feet.
Hey church girl and guys who watch this, my name is Zharamarieyt and welcome back to my channel for the regular members, and for those who are new, this is your place for clean Christian content where we facilitate and have conversations that we just don't have in church. Now, if you're here, let me tell you something, you know. If you're here and you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you never ever miss another upload, right? I know that there's some tribe members that are not subscribed. I know that there are people who watch the channel. I mean, our wedding video got over 10k views. I don't have 10k subscribers. So if you're here and you're not subscribed, just look and see if you're subscribed, and if you're not, just go ahead and click the button. It not cost you nothing. Anyways, today I'm not home, but I had good lighting, so I said why not just record this video and have this conversation, because I think I have an old video about it, but with maturity and with exposure, I think it's time for an update, right? So let's get right into it. Let me put a disclaimer here first that I am here where I am because of prayer, because of talking to God for myself, because of getting my personal conviction, and just because of where I'm in the journey. This doesn't mean that I am judging you who are at one stage of your journey, or does it mean that you should judge me based on where you are in your journey and based on what God has revealed to you. As relates to modesty, people have different opinions, people have different concerns, and I don't think it will ever stop being an issue. I don't think it will ever stop being a debate, because we are different people, we were raised differently, we have different social backgrounds, we are from different generations, we have different styles, we have different set tastes. So I don't think it will ever stop being an issue until that Jesus comes. But you know, we're going to a new land where none of this will matter. So let's dive into the conversation. Let's start with what modesty is not, okay? So first and foremost, modesty is not the wearing of long skirts. Modesty is not the decision to not wear jewelry. Modesty is not the decision to always wear baggy clothes. Modesty is not the decision to not wear makeup. Modesty is not the decision to not wear extensions. Modesty is not a list of rules.
Not a list of rules.
Not a list of rules. And most importantly, modesty is not for women alone. I think where we got it wrong is when we turn modesty in a list of rules and we turn modesty in a list of regulations. And the reason I say modesty is not these things is because you can be doing all of that and your heart is in the right place. And if you do all of that, which we have seen, which I have done, which I know a lot of you who are watching this have done too. So what is modesty? Zara here talking blah blah blah, but let us know what it is. And I strongly believe that modesty is more about who you are than what you wear. But does it have a look? You can answer that question by the time we end this video. I think it has a look. If you think modesty has a look, you can let us know. It has a look, and at the end of the video you will realize that it will look differently for different people. And a quick story I'll share, that when I was a little younger, one of the main reasons I created this online community and I was so passionate about it was never because I want to come on the internet and tell my business. And I do share a lot. I live my life up publicly, not because I like talking about business on the internet, but because I wanted a space that I could relate to and I couldn't find it. Because I think that a lot of people live selfishly. A lot of Christians live selfishly, and I say that unapologetically. We talk about the Bible so much, but we don't live it enough. And even if we live it, it's not public enough in a place where the people who are living in the world were very public, right? So I felt myself trapped in that, because the influences that I was looking up to, and I and a lot of young girls, we were taking a lot of influence from movies, from social media, and there was just no space. And I remember a particular time, back to the story that was kind of an aside, a particular time I was just, you know, feeling insecure about the clothes that I had and the way I was combing my hair and the way I appeared. I wasn't a baddie. I wasn't an Instagram baddie, and I started taking content creation a little more seriously. I started blogging, right? and I felt so out of place because I never looked like the girls on the internet, and I tried to find people who I could relate to, and it was so hard. It was so hard. I tried to find people who could help me to shop and people who could suggest outfits that I felt comfortable in, but it was so hard. And then now I realized I never fit in and I wanted to fit in, so I started, you know, trying to do stuff like that to fit in, but it was just not me. I just never felt like how I was supposed to feel. But then I realized that all of those insecurities really came from what I was feeling and the communities of people that I was associated with. And that's why I say modesty is more than just about what you wear, because all of these things in my life started to creep in. All of the social media, all of the TV, all of pop culture started to creep in, and I was sad about the way I looked, not because I felt like this isn't what God wants for me, but because I just never felt like I fit in. I never did a hot girl. I just want to be a hot girl because that's what the standard of beauty. That's really where. If I never look like that particular figure, then I wasn't hot, I wasn't trendy, and I wasn't worthy. And it made me sad. It made me sad because as a Christian, that's not how I was supposed to be living my life. You know, I was supposed to be following a particular standard, and it was hard, and it made me sad that that particular standard was not very well represented in a world where so many other lifestyles were represented. The vulnerability, I'm on here crying, bawling tears, laughing, doing all bag of stuff just because I love content creation, and I also know what it is like to have a space that you feel like is your space and something that you can relate to. I know that there's somebody watching this who feels a little insecure. You're not pretty enough without all of this stuff. You need to be dressing a certain way, and then it's so hard to let go of dressing a certain way. I know there too, because I was there where it was so hard to let go of certain styles, and then I would do a debate and say how God care about the heart and God don't really care about how I look and stuff. Yeah, no, that's you're giving yourself crap, sis. You're giving yourself crap. So let's kind of backtrack a little bit and think about what modesty is. Modesty is about surrender. It's about complete surrender. Modesty is about completely surrendering the flesh, completely surrendering the opinions that you have, completely surrendering you, and putting on the full armor of God. Because when we ask God to create in me a clean heart, He completely purifies us. He takes up a different identity and puts it on us. But we're not going to get that if we never completely surrendered in the first place. Ezekiel 36 verse 26 says, I will give you a new mind, and I will put a new spirit inside you. I will take away your stubborn mind, and I will give you a loving mind. He transforms our desires when we surrender. He transforms our thoughts. So no longer will we be influenced even by pop culture, because we're a chosen generation and we're different. So it first starts with complete surrender and letting go. So modesty is about the posture of the heart, the why. Why do you do what we do? We're told in Galatians that if we walk in the spirit, then we want the things of the spirit, and if we walk in the flesh, we're going to want the things of the flesh. Why do you do what you do? Why do you choose to do things the way that you choose to do things? Is it just because your favorite pastor, your favorite speaker, your favorite person on Instagram told you to not do it? Or is it because you could have searched the scriptures, or the Holy Spirit has convicted you of whatever, of this certain thing? And this kind of comes back to even the situation I spoke about the other day when I said that you don't have to go to church to be a Christian. And a lot of people jump down on me for blah 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 and say you must just go to church until something connect. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That is why we are how we are. That is why there are so many hypocrites in the church. Because we tell people crap like that to just go for going sake, and then you're there, and then the enemy uses you where he wasn't supposed to use you, because the enemy is in church too. And it's the same thing when it comes to modesty, and it's the same thing that comes to these church rules that we have. The church that say you mustn't wear a skirt. Why you don't wear a skirt? Is it because you are truly convicted? Is it because your pastor says so? Why don't you wear jewelry? Is it because you are truly convicted? Or is it because the pastor says so? Why don't you decide to cream your hair? I go back to your why. Are you doing these things because you feel like this is what you need to be doing based on what God has said to you? It is 2022. If you have not been following the signs of the time, God soon come from earth. And if God soon come from earth, it really means that it's time that we stop just following people blindly and read the Bible for ourselves. So let's get back to the why. Let's get back to a place where we have such a good relationship with God that we're reading His Word, we're praying about it, and if there's an issue when it comes to dress, that we can be humble enough or we can be sacrificial enough to let go and go to Him and say, God, this is what the church says I should do. Help me to see where you said it, and also help me to recognize if by wearing it I'm being prideful, I'm being vain, if by wearing it I'm relying for my inward beauty and stuff like that. God will answer you. I think the power of pride is something that we are so dismissive of, and we use it as a last resort, when the truth is, if we simply ask God to reveal something to us, He's not selfish. And that brings us to the third point of what modesty is. Modesty is accepting that true beauty does not come from your outward adorning. The true beauty comes from inside here. And I want us to go to 1 Peter 3 verse 3 that says, don't focus on outward attractiveness, hairstyles, gold jewelry, or fashionable clothes. Instead, let it come from within, the lasting attractiveness of a gentle and peaceful spirit on the inside. That's what God values. Oh, although this one was specifically talking to a group of women at the time, let us use this to apply to everybody, both men and women, right? And essentially, these verses are reminding us of our worth. Where does our worth come from? Where does our true beauty come from? Not the things that we have on, not the extraness, but a gentle spirit, a humble and a meek heart. And of course, these verses have been thrown all over the place about what the Bible says about what we know for wear and blah 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 blah. But really and truly, it never told us to not focus at all on our outward adorning, because we should look nice, we should look presentable. And if we are carrying on the gospel in a world where everybody else looks nice, as Christians we should also look nice. We also should put ourselves together well, and we should look presentable, and we should be clean and have proper hygiene and wear good quality clothes and look good. But at the end of the day, our worth and our value and our beauty should never come from all of those things. We shouldn't feel incomplete without them. And the truth is, denying self and allow people to see Jesus' sweet spirit through us is way more important than somebody seeing your outfit. Way more important. Our worth is not defined by any of those things. Rather, it should shine from a gentle and meek spirit, which is really what's worth in God's eyes. And that's what's attractive. How you treat people, your personality, how you talk to people, how you show the fruit of the Spirit, how you're able to relate God's character. If we spend a lot of time focusing on cultivating those aspects, the fashion part will come. I'm telling you, the fashion part will come. The modesty, the list of rules will start to make sense. If you have rules, and then you will start to understand why you do certain stuff. So knowing all of this, Zara, why are there rules, and does modesty have a look? And that's a question I ask myself. I have been asking myself, and I continue to ask myself over and over every time I have to make a decision on what to buy or what to wear, or if this is appropriate. And I think God has called leaders to lead the flock in the best way they know how, and some of these rules are necessary to some extent to keep the status quo. And I mean, it is what it is. I'm not going to get into that right now. Depending on your church, you have different set of rules, and talk about your pastor. Talk to that with your pastor, because I'm not getting into it. Yes, back to the point. Knowing all of this, why are there guidelines in place? And if you know why there are guidelines in place, I would love to hear your opinion on just modesty and anything. Leave it in the chat. Let me know where you are on your journey and what has been your conviction so far. While editing the video, I had to turn to Instagram because I wanted you guys to also give your opinions in this video, because I know that will help people, and I know that it's nice to have a balanced perspective. So I'm going to just throw the answers in and ask the question: if modesty is about the posture of the heart, why does it matter what we wear? Here are some of the answers. personally, and I always tell my story that you cannot use Zara's ruler to decide what your ruler is, but Zara uses this ruler, and I hope you can maybe come up with something similar that can help you along your journey. At the end of the day, we're on this journey together as I learn and share. It's not me up here from a high horse telling you, no, we're all on the same level, and I'm just learning and you're sharing with me as well. Cool. I think about pride, and I think about the desire to always exalt self. And the truth is, what is seen as very sexy and very attractive is rooted in sex symbolism and pride. Now I look into myself, and when I'm going shopping or when I'm choosing an outfit or when nothing, guys, no, I'm not perfect in enough things my baby can't wear. I've bought stuff and when it come and I try it on, I can't wear it. Or I've seen stuff when I was like, sometimes you're kind of rocky, you never in the word, you never walking in the flesh, and you were walking so much in the flesh, and you by the time 2 months after I can't wear it again. So as I said, we're not perfect. That's just aside. I've bought things that I just can't put on. Or I'll wear it this week and the next week I look on the picture and I was like, boy, you shouldn't wear that though. That not look like it doesn't breathe humility. It looks like you're trying to show up yourself. You're trying to show up yourself. Stop acting like you don't know. And I have to tell myself these things. And sometimes I have to sit there and I have to do some introspection. I have to do some introspection, man. And it's good. It's a good place because that's how you can move forward. So yeah, back to the point now. And honestly, over time, trends have changed. What is seen as attractive and what is seen as sexy has also changed. But I think about it and I say, how do I want to be perceived? And you have private parts and you have public parts. That's kind of how you see private parts and public parts. And there are some parts that are okay being out in public to me, and there are some parts that are just not okay. So if we're inching too much up to the private parts, I mean, say something wrong. So I use that as a guide. Babylonian system was thoroughly described. I'm going to be using, and let me pull it up real quickly. It was described as somebody who was clothed in purple and scarlet, wore jewelry made of gold and gems and pearls. She held in her hand a golden cup full of obscene things and her disgusting immorality. A name of mystery, blah blah blah. I'm not going to go into the prophetic importance. It's very important. That verse is very, very important. But what I want to talk about is the fact that the Babylonian woman was described as having on all of these riches and these gold and the jewelry and all of this extra stuff. And we think about this stuff like purple and scarlet. That material was expensive. It looks good. I can just imagine that it looked good. But underneath it all, crap. Underneath it all, lies. Underneath it all, deceit. Underneath it all, so many red flags. And I don't want us to miss out on the fact that, like, even the purple, scarlet and stuff like that, that you can have on things that are length appropriate and very covered, and you're still immodest because all you're doing is drawing attention to yourself, and it's not really baked and grounded in humility and self-sacrifice. It has a heavy foundation in pride and vanity. So yeah, you can, in the long skirt, you can not be wearing jewelry, you cannot cream your hair, you can be doing all of that, but then the clothes that you have on costs how much thousands of dollars, and you never show your offering, or you never help the sick, or being a Christian is not an easy calling. So I want us to think about those things. Now look on the woman in Revelation 17 versus even the Proverbs 31 woman. You recognize that the woman in Revelation 17, which is not a real woman, by the way, which is just a system of false beliefs, right? That woman, we hear a lot about her outward appearance. You look on Proverbs 31 and the woman described in Proverbs 31, which also has prophetic meaning of what Christ wants church to be. We don't get a physical description of her, and I think it was on purpose. Hey babe, if modesty if modesty is about the posture of the heart, right? Why does what we wear matter?
Modesty is about the posture of the heart. Okay, I agree with that statement.
Okay.
because I don't think that fundamentally modesty is about what something looks like. I think it's about whether your informed conviction.
Informed conviction.
Informed conviction.
What is informed conviction?
So when you are impressed that God wants you to do something, having done your due diligence in Bible study, consistent prayer, and seeking wise counsel on a particular topic.
Okay, that's informed consent.
And then you come to a conclusion that that is what God is impressing you to do. That is what I would consider to be an informed conviction.
Okay.
Right? Not just you get up one day and say, I feel like say God said.
Yeah,
and some if
and
you just,
this is my conviction.
this is my conviction. Like, no, why, how come? You sure is your conviction or you feel like? Or you because you want to.
Or the conviction where you have off just because your pastor says so.
Exactly. Or is it that you grew up hearing that thing and now you
just
like,
do it?
That is what is to be done because that's what it has always been done. Anyway. All that is beside the point. I was saying, it's modest if your informed conviction is that is an appropriate way to dress for that given situation.
Okay.
Say that again?
Yes.
I think it's modest if your informed conviction says that is an appropriate way to dress for that given situation.
Okay.
Situation meaning the time of history that you're living in, the place in the world that you're at, the people who are going to be in that particular place where you are, what you'll be doing in the place that you're wearing that clothes to. All of that I think matters if you're going to consider something modest or not.
Okay.
Alright.
So why does what we wear matter?
Why does what you wear matter? It matters if what you're wearing is not in keeping with that informed conviction.
Okay.
But if what you're wearing is in keeping with that informed conviction, then there is no need for there to be a universal appropriated
like a list of things to
standard that everybody's conviction must conform to. I don't think you're ever going to get that because cultures vary, contexts vary, context generally vary. So the culture going to vary, the particular event or place that you are. Because what I'm wearing now is not modest for me to go into the hospital. I mean, I'm underpants and a t-shirt.
Them not see your underpants and your t-shirt, them just see your shirt.
Alright, but the point is, it's not appropriate.
You just expose yourself, man.
What you have on the modest figure. But it's modest for the bedroom.
It's modest for the house.
And it's modest for the house.
Yeah.
You know, so then attempting to now appropriate this picture of what modesty looks like without an appreciation for different contexts is what puts us in problems. Because, let me give you the example. Let us say that I am going to Afghanistan on a mission trip. Everybody have on their robes, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what you call it. I don't know the root.
Their attire.
Their cultural clothes, whatever that is called. And it's light and airy for a reason. But it still cover all your skin because the sun hot.
Right?
And then I go there in a 3-piece suit.
Yeah.
Properly buttoned down. Shirt fitted. My pants well taken and all the nice things. You want me dressed like I would dress for the wedding?
And tie.
And a tie. Oh gosh, I hate ties. And a tie. Is that modest? I'd love to say no.
It's covered.
Yeah. I'd love to say no because personally I can't see how that would be in alignment with my conviction. But if somebody's convicted that is how God wants them to dress on that day, then you know what? By all means, run with that as being modest in your book, but I don't think it is. Personally, I don't think so. I think you'll be showing more than anything else.
Yeah, I think you'll be
showing more than anything else.
And it goes back to the why. Why would you want to wear a suit?
Exactly, it's the why. So it is immodest, if that's a word, but not modest.
It is not modest.
It is not modest.
Even though in our culture it will be modest.
When you're going to a church in New York, or you're going to Andrews, or you're going to Kings, then sure. It's modest. Say me and you and Raheem and Meeks are going to meet up and go down at the beach. Colin are going to come.
And it's a Sabbath. Do you wear a 3-piece suit? No. First
of all, if y'all are wearing 3-piece suits, I'm not coming. Because y'all aren't the people I want to have. I'm sorry. but let me back up a little bit, right? Look at the 2 pillars, I think, of what would make something appropriate. One is whether or not it is revealing.
Yes.
And I think there should be less debate over what is revealing.
Yeah.
And like,
because your private parts are show, your private parts are show. Yeah, your body's a temple and all of that. Let's not even get why is that even still a debate?
Right.
But Zondo, because revealing if you go to the beach.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's one component, this idea of it being revealing.
Yeah.
And two, this idea of it being culturally appropriate. Which I think are two separate things and things that should be dealt with as separate issues.
Yeah.
Because I would think that if you're going to go to church and sit on the pulpit, wearing a bikini is not appropriate for two separate reasons. One, it is revealing. Two, revealing. And two, it's not culturally appropriate to wear a bikini to go to church.
And obviously to affect other people.
Exactly. It's definitely, you're going to be a stumbling block to all of the men, especially if you're good looking.
And the women are going to be uncomfortable.
Well,
and then you have other women who might be struggling with same-sex attraction. It's a real thing.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's a real thing. So it's more like, so it does matter.
So it matters.
Yeah.
Because I cannot justify how that could be in keeping with an informed conviction from God. I mean, something else can convict you, but not God. But that said, we could talk about the cultural appropriateness of things, right? I personally hate a tie. I think it's the bane of my existence.
I know.
I live in Jamaica.
We know.
The place is hot. Why do I need to wear a tie?
We know.
Nevertheless, if I go to a church to speak, and especially if it's an old school kind of church, like, no offense when I come to your church and I'm spoken with a tie on. And I think that I'm going to be a stumbling block to the brethren if I go up there in a button-down shirt but no tie. Then I'm going to put on the tie because I don't think it's culturally appropriate for me to come and preach just because of the culture that we live in Jamaica. But let's say I went to Hawaii where people wear them short sleeve button down shirt without a tie, them floral shirt, and that's what the speaker is speaking in. Then that's culturally appropriate, but none of these two things are revealing, tie or no tie.
Exactly.
Not a matter of it being revealing. So whether it is modest or not,
Wait. Bane of my existence.
Trust me. Yang bye. Yeah. So whether or not it is modest is now a question of whether it is culturally appropriate in that context. But then let's say somebody wants to wear some tight pants. The tight pants, depending on how tight, can be revealing and it can also be unhealthful. Because you squeeze up or mustn't get squeeze up and then problems. In that context, I think the question of modesty is both about cultural appropriateness and about being revealing. And I'd probably even throw in the third one about health, it being healthful or not. But then somebody may be coming from a place where this pants is a step up from what they usually wear, which is short shorts or ripped jeans or whatever it is, and this is the only thing that they have to wear to church at this point, and then they wear that, and so there are a whole heap of things that can come into play, but the question of exactly what it should look like,
You can't.
But the question of
does it matter?
But the question of what it should look like is one that I don't think we can answer or should attempt to answer. But I do think it matters what you wear because of fundamentally what makes something modest. Is it in keeping with your informed conviction of what to wear? That's my line. I'm sticking to it.
Alright, man. So we live in a sinful world. Everything is warped in sin. And as a chosen generation, we are to look different. We are to act different. We are to speak different because we have a different set of beliefs. We have a different system of beliefs. And we believe different things. Don't get me wrong. This don't mean you must pop down. You mustn't take care of yourself. And I think for us, we go to the extreme. It's like, we're dramatic, We are dramatic. Human beings are extra. Very, very dramatic, because we move from one end of the spectrum where we're like, okay, we're not supposed to look like the world, so then now we look like we pop down. But that's a whole other video for a whole other time. Christian girl to fix up themselves and look nice all the time. But we're supposed to be different. We're supposed to look different, because it's not about us, it's about God. It will really help you to make your own decision. So I will never ever come on Jesus's internet to give you a list of do's and don'ts. Not I. And before I go, I want to add that you cannot convict a soul about what they wear. That's not the way to go. Trust me. And to date, a lot of church hurt that I've had was rooted in people telling me what they think is inappropriate for me to wear. To date. Or what I should paint my nails in, or. Because the thing is, when it comes to talking to people, especially people who you don't know, people who you've never showed God's love to, people who you have never displayed the fruit of the Spirit to, talking to them about what you think is appropriate is horrible. You might think you're doing the Lord's work, but not really. Because when it comes to stuff like that, the Holy Spirit has to do the work. All you can do, especially, and I say this especially for the church aunties. I know one day I'll become a church auntie. Right now I'm more like a church big sister. But especially for church aunties, I know sometimes you think you're doing the right thing by pulling up people. But you see, if it is somebody who you've never even said hello to, or happy Sabbath, or how is school, or how are you doing, how's the baby, if somebody have a child, or somebody who recently got married, how are things, and you try to help them out with the other aspects of their life before you try to say, you know, me think that just too short though, you need for. No, that's not the way to go, boo. No, boo. That's the Lord's work, okay? And I know we're supposed to keep each other accountable. If you're in the same church space, a church community with a younger person, or even an older person, or somebody your age, and they're wearing something that you think is inappropriate, there are so many other ways to do it. There are so many other ways to do it. But let me tell you, take this from me. If you don't take anything else from this video, take this from me. We're all on a journey towards building our relationship with Christ. Salvation is individual, and we're all working on our individual relationship. If you have never displayed the fruit of the Spirit to someone, if you have never showed them kindness, love, grace, mercy, affection, talking to them about do's and don'ts and a list of what to do is not the way to go, and you are not doing the Lord's work. So yeah, that's just a little modesty conversation that we had today, the thoughts that are on my mind. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I would love to hear if you've had an experience with this. Personally, I've had a lot of experiences. Maybe another time I'll do like a video that says how people approach me and what I think they should have done differently. And then of course I have a lot of ideas about outfit hauls, and how you can even use, how I've been using like filters to decide how to shop online, like different filters that I use, so that I can get the selections. Because I shop on regular sites like Shein and Boohoo and Pretty Little Things, same way like the average girl, but they're just, there's some things on me. So let me know if those are videos that you'd love to see. I would love to produce them for you. I just want us to try to grow daily, and if this is an issue for you, pray about it, journal about it. God can help you through any issue. If you're having a pride issue, so a lot of times when we have modesty issues, we're having a pride issue, we're having a sacrifice issue, we're having a flesh issue. And I know this because I have had the issue. I am currently working through a lot of issues, okay? Ask God to reveal to you what are the areas of your life that you need to work on in order to do the bigger things. For me, like right now, even diet, that's one other thing. Like, guys, there's not so much to talk about. Because me not say my diet issue because when I get self-control, but me not master that's I get at all. Sacrifice and self-control, oh my goodness. But that's another conversation for another day. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button and share this video to your church group, to your youth group, to your friend. Share it on your status, share it on your story, because we need to have more of these conversations. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.